Okay, so I'm addressing the question of the problem of evil. How can a good, loving, all-powerful God allow all the evil and suffering that we encounter in this world? It's a great question. It's an anomalous question that's been asked by everybody. So, great question. So last time I pointed out the absurdity of using that reason to disprove God. And I said that actually the presence of evil proves God. And you can watch the last video to see that. The next question, or the next area I want to say is, I want to say that every worldview has to address this problem. So it's not just a problem for the Christian or the Muslim or the Hindu or whatever. It's also a question for the atheist. And as I pointed out in the last video, for the atheist, it truly becomes an absurd question. And they have to confront that. They have to say that evil and good and evil don't actually exist. And that's a hard pill to swallow. No one can swallow that. So the other thing I want to say, and I want to speak this from a Christian worldview, is that the answer to that question is that, yes, God allows evil to occur, but only temporarily. In the Christian worldview, evil is ultimately conquered and replaced by nothing but good, and that's the eternal hope that we have in the new creation. So keep that in mind, that this is just a temporary state that God allows, and we'll talk about why God allows it in another episode, but you've got to frame it in the sense that God has solved this problem. God has the answer, and God has promised that world that we're complaining that this world isn't, right? We complain this world ought to be different. And lo and behold, God promises us that world that we long for. So that's the Christian hope. That's the entire good news, is that God actually has solved this problem already. It's just laying there in our future, in our eternal future. And this is just a temporary way station. And God, I believe, has great reasons for why he allows this temporary exposure to good and evil for a greater purpose. And I'll elaborate that in the next episode. Okay, so all worldviews have to address this question. It's the most asked question. The atheist answer is absurd, and the Christian answer is that God has answered that already. It's just not, it's not fully unfolded yet. Okay, so we'll talk about why this temporary exposure to evil and suffering here in this existence on the next one. All right. Thanks.